Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we will look at the second half of Grimjack's Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation in a nutshell, part 2. Now, this is going to be a unique blend of both animation and review, so I'm really looking forward to this, partially because, one, every time Grimjack and the Schmuck Squad make one of these review abridged, it's honestly incredibly funny, but also makes a lot of good points that sometimes I didn't consider for shows I have seen. Now, a lot of the time, I haven't seen the shows, but this is one of the exceptions where I have seen Jobless Reincarnation. As far as the first season. If it goes into the second, I got no idea what's going on, so I'll be completely out of the loop. I need to fix that, and I really have no excuse why I haven't already. It's a good show, and I haven't fixed that. I need to do that. That said, I want to see just what Grimjack is going to get into here, what the Schmuck Squad in general are going to bring, because I know what I think about this. It's a good show, and now that the really pervy baby stage, and that is not something I ever wanted to say out loud, is over, interesting stuff happens. But that's my take. I want to see what they're going at, so we're going to check it out. Otherwise, you guys know the deal. Link below video. Hit it up. Let's get started.
The teleportation incident really threw a wrench into things. I've gotten separated from my family,
right into the bridge
and
portion.
everyone in the world got shuffled
Because
around.
the first half
Some people
happened
even
right
died.
at
It's
the
been
big
crazy.
change in the first
But with the help
season.
of my friends Airier and Airier, I know we can find my family and save the world.
Really?
Time is of the essence. We must make haste.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but do you want to goof off for like 5 months and accomplish nearly nothing?
Do I?
Oh god, that's actually how this... You know, in hindsight, that is literally exactly what they were doing. They were just having their own sweet time. Honestly, I'm surprised more people aren't pissed at him for that now that I think about it. It's been brought up, he kind of deserves it.
God, I miss my family. I hope Rudy got all my messages and isn't screwing around. Wait, could he be dead?
Hail, travelers!
Yeah, as much shit as Paul got, and the fact that he immediately found multiple women as soon as he wasn't with his wife. He got the rough end of this one, and he was, yeah, that's, I don't like giving Paul credit, but yeah, he was suffering. He got comfort. A lot of it. Oh, God, such a womanizer.
I am your stalwart companion, Grimace Jackus, and today we are returning to the land of Tome.
I'm sorry. I am a 5-year-old. As soon as I heard it, Grimace, I'm like, oh, so you're the person making all those shakes that kill people. Oh, God, I'm just... it's not the Schmuck Squad, it's the Mix Schmuck Squad. I am 5. I am aware of it. We're just going to move on from here.
Homes and swords.
Oh.
Picking up where we left off in Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation.
Ooh,
Or
nice
if you
interest
don't
flash.
remember what happened in our last video, you can watch it here. Or I can input it all in your mind in 1 second, like this. Okay, maybe just go watch the video.
I mean, oddly enough, that's not a bad way to recap
Like
it.
this.
What were some of the things he wrote in there?
This.
What? Oh, there's actually a lot of scenes going on that he just capsulized. I don't remember that one. Man God 24601. Because of the god, yeah. Then there's the dragon. That's a surprisingly good recap. I mean, I know it's a joke, but that actually kind of got most of what I forgot in.
Previously, Team Dead End were outed and forced to move on from the town of Rikarasu.
Yeah.
It's been a whole year since they first landed on the Demon Continent. So maybe there's a chance that the 40-something guy and the adolescent body of Rudius Grey Rat has
Wait, he was 40? Considering his lifestyle and the fact that all his hair is still black, I'm actually a little surprised. I was thinking maybe 20s or early 30s at most. Damn.
finally started to settle down and not be so incredibly gross at all times.
No. Well, actually, he gets a lot better. But it's just because pervy from a early teen is not as disturbing as pervy from a, oh my god, you're still in the single digits. What the fuck? It is very disturbing. And honestly, if you got to skip the intro, it's probably one of the best reasons. Yeah, it does make it hard to get into.
No, he's as bad as ever. Rudy's party attends the board.
He grows up
bound
eventually.
towards home. However, for Roger to join them,
because
it would cost an
the bar is
exorbitant
so high.
fee. It's standard industry inflation. Like when you pay extra for a baby gate when a doggy gate would work just fine. Or,
No. I've just looked. They found out. They've matched the price. It is so goddamn expensive. I'm sorry, I'm venting a bit right now, but I got cats. You gotta get specialized baby gates for them, which are cheaper than the dog gates because all of them are over $100. Because the ones that aren't will destroy your walls because they'll just beat the shit out of them. Like, hey, the cat touched it. It ripped out the siding. There is scary shit there, man, and it is a massive scam that no one can do anything about.
Or when you go buy a cake and they charge you more to write "just married" on it, then
Congrats, the promo dad. You deserve all of it. I'm sorry for always being late. Like, oh my god.
you know, fucking writing. Like, sorry, I dented your penis in a freak lawn dart accident.
I'm sorry,
Sorry, I dented your penis in a freak lawn dart accident. Those things are illegal for a reason.
I'm assuming Grimjack is younger than me. I could be wrong. He could be my age. He could be older. I don't know. But if he's even close, they have been illegal almost my entire life because of, unfortunately, the reason he just mentioned. The fact that he would even think to make a lawn dart reference means I'm actually terrified that he's speaking from experience. Oh, he's basically The Sun Also Rises, but making a joke about it. If you get that reference, yeah, it's a Hemingway reference. I'm not expecting a lot of people to get it. If you do, you get why that's really a blow below the belt. I'm just going to leave it at that because any more would be YouTube inappropriate.
Okay, so it looks like if we want to get Ruby Jared across the sea with us, it's gonna cost 2,000 big ones.
As a big one myself, I will simply have to procure 2,000 equally big boys to pay the fare. I'm gonna need 5 roast hens, a spoolful of twine, and a lot of rope.
I meant big ones as
No. Please go on. I'm actually curious what he's thinking up right now. I hope they continue this joke. Did they just make Rugierd the murderous MacGyver? I didn't know I wanted that, and now I completely want that. Him just pulling out random bullshit and making it work. Why do I want this so much? I have made murder! All it took was a bullhorn, a gecko, and some tape. And I made a functional bullhorn.
money. But it's good to know we have a backup plan.
Does my spear son count? It has the soul of my son, and he was a rather large boy.
Again, we need money, not people.
Oh, that's all? My father spends 4 times that much a month on new staff.
Great reminder that you're rich and that you call your slaves staff, but
Yeah, they did that. And also, he needed to spend that much because he is a horrible person.
again, unless you have that money on you, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, you shut down a lot of great ideas, Rudy.
Did I?
Are
But
they
I
really?
haven't heard you come up with any of your own.
That's because I don't have any. I
Well, at
was
least you
hoping
admitted it.
for something from you guys.
Stare.
Bone in my throat. Excuse me.
Which, in retrospect, was obviously a mistake.
Gamertag Loser God offers more guidance.
I mean, yeah, if you pick that name as a gamer tag, I would completely agree with him on this one. Not even as a joke. It is very embarrassing a name. It's like calling yourself Dark Slayer, Epic Man, God, yes, Epic. XXX0XXX. You see that and you realize, oh, there's 7.
Suggesting that Rudy should buy food from a street vendor and take a walk through the back alleys. That sounds like really good advice. Thanks. By now, he sounds more like a TripAdvisor review than a prophet. But Rudy
He's supposed to be a prophet? Honestly, I thought he was intentionally fucking him over for his own amusement. Tell me I'm wrong. I honestly can't tell if I'm wrong. I literally cannot tell if I'm wrong about that. It's helping. The quotes are necessary.
follows his advice anyway, eventually running afoul of a pungent beggar desperate for sustenance. I mean, look at her. She's obviously destitute. She can barely buy clothes. Upon feeding the smelly degenerate, she is revealed to be bondage child. This is
slightly less uncomfortable than that opening segment with the baby with the soul of a 40-year-old introvert who never left the house and was a massive horny ass. Yeah, this got awkward really fast.
Kirishimoto, the great emperor of the demon world.
Yeah.
She's also one of the anime characters you must never do a Google image search for, unless...
You know, I didn't think of that. And now I did. And I regret everything. Thanks, Grimjack. I'm so happy you said that.
You want to end up on a very special watch list.
And deserve it.
Thank you for feeding me, pitiful mortal. In exchange for saving my life, I shall grant you one wish.
I'd like an Xbox.
Man, you crazy! I can't afford a box.
An Xbox?
That neither.
Well, then I'd like...
Oh, yeah, because she's poor. Admittedly, her design would be great on someone who wasn't a child.
Like my own personal harem.
Very well.
Well,
You
technically,
can start with
technically.
me, and we'll build from there.
Never mind, I'm changing my answer.
Not very decisive,
Smart.
are you? In that case, you shall receive a demon eye! Now hold still.
Demon Eye? What's that? Some kind of...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this part. I don't think this was edited in. I think this is actually the show.
Oh, God, the pain! Is this karmic retribution for my actions?
Calm down, you big baby.
I think I know who did the sound design here. Sound effects, My Toaster. Of course it was My Toaster as Moist. He's the one who puts in those squeaky sound effects right when the eye came out. Ah! I can't do wet sounds. They hit so hard and I hate them. It's effective. It works, but also... ugh. There's a cut. It's because there was another wet sound effect and I just need to go vacate my bowels through my mouth. It is not pleasant. I don't like doing it. It hurts.
I'm only ripping your eye out and putting a new one in. Jeez, kids these days.
Nothing to say. I just didn't expect more squick sounds. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh. I'm good. I'm good.
What
thank
is
God for the cut.
up? It's your boy, Grimbop, here with this video's sponsor, Stacked. Stacked is a new social video platform. In exchange for the meal, she gifts Rudy with the Eye of Foresight, which allows him to see ever so slightly into the future. Now
little
he's like Shulk
disorienting.
from Xenoblade Chronicles. If Shulk was a...
I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't actually know what he does. I have to get around to it. I like the Xeno Saga. I mean, I have Xeno Gears somewhere behind me. So, probably should get around to it.
a
Haven't.
perverted child possessed by the soul of a middle-aged Japanese man.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, though. I kind of skipped
Would that be an
cutscenes
upside?
in that game.
I don't know.
With this newfound ability, Rudy can now hold his own in combat, finally gaining victory over Eris, and very much not victory over Wizard,
Yeah.
who, upon exerting 1 additional % of his power, grounds Rudy like a flight in bad weather.
Was it really 1%? Was it really 1%? It might have been significantly less. This was him actually moving as opposed to literally sleepwalking. And I realized Rijard is basically Ultra Instinct Shaggy. It's not even a joke. That's basically his role. He does it well.
Seeing into the future doesn't pay the boatman, however, and without any other option, they enlist the service of smugglers to stow away on the boat. Enter Gallus Cleaner, which
That's actually his name. I completely forgot his name. And it's so stupid. I'm actually surprised.
is incidentally what I use to wipe the stains off my bay window.
Must not laugh, must not laugh, must not laugh. It's such a stupid... Why? Why of all the dumb things is...
Which is incidentally what I use to wipe the stains
This!
off my bay window.
It's a stupid edit for a stupid joke on his name being Cleaner, and they just put his face in the dumbest position possible on top of a freaking spray bottle. Why is this what makes me laugh? It's not even humor. It's a dumb prop joke. Oh, God damn. I wasn't expecting it. That's probably why. Surprise added humor where there wasn't any in the actual sentence. Oh, my God. Well played, Grimjack. Well played.
A window. Around the same time, his former teacher Roxy is traveling with Tallhand the dwarf and Alina Lise the thirst trap elf, 2 former members
Yeah.
of Paul's old adventuring crew. before you ask, yes, Paul did bone the elf.
Yeah, that's not surprising. The more surprising part is, dear God, she makes Paul look celibate. I mean, God damn.
Like boned every girl. All right, we're good.
I mean, if I'm
Tallahan
only
and
girl.
Alina Elise are seeking information on Rudy's possible whereabouts following his disappearance. And occasionally Alina Elise having sex with, dozens of men. Probably all at the same time.
Yeah, that would explain
Hey,
Roxy's
each to their
reaction.
own.
Well, our visit to the guild was informative, to say the least. Though I can't say I approve of your method of...
I wonder what their voice is going to be for her and him. Are they going to go the usual "this sounds like they look," or are they going to go for the complete opposite and just make it completely awkward but funny because of it?
information gathering, Alina Lise.
Skillful tongues make for loose lips, Roxy.
And why?
Okay, they're going with accurate, and I like the lines, but also I am so glad my wife isn't here right now. Dear, if you're watching this, I am so sorry.
While I was watching all of that from the corner, I wrote down a bunch of notes about Dead End. Wait, no, I drew a bunch of inappropriate doodles. Well, hopefully you were paying attention to what we learned about Dead End, Roxy.
Nope.
What do you mean, dead end? We're looking for Paul's family.
Oh no! I guess I have to go back.
Ugh.
Through this potent strategy, they learn of the Dead End Party. And though Roxy catches a glimpse of Airier and Rougerd as they are training, she is unable to confirm their identity.
Because she's affected by the curse and all thought goes out of the way. And she went to Airier.
Alina Elise also has her hands full, fending off a horde of assailants who are all coming at her at once, Shakespearean swords in hand. Upon their safe arrival,
I have yet to hear about it called a Shakespearean sword. That is a new one. I hear the pen is mightier. But that gets into the territory of 50 Shades of Grey, and we don't want another one of those.
on Millis continent, Rudy visits the pound to pick up his Rougerd. In a stunning twist, the smugglers are not actually upstanding gentlemen. Would have guessed. And
Shocking.
they have beast children captive, who the superb softy really wants to rescue. They've even killed one already for crying too loud, which is not a recommended method of parenting.
Yeah.
He's so damn mad about these murdering bastards, his green hair grows back like a chia pet. He obviously means business. Together, the pair free.
This might sound weird, it's a bit off topic. Does he look dumber with hair than without? I mean, I know he's going full Zorro, but with a spear. But on the other hand, he looked cooler bald. Maybe that's just me, but it really did look that way.
The remaining beastlings. But before they can safely flee, Rudy goes back to also save a giant fluffy puppy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a mob of beast people arrive on the scene and mistaken Rudy for one of the smugglers. Because I would also do the same. Yeah, Rudy looks like a smuggler. Look at him. Look at him with his little eye patch. And
Doesn't pay taxes. The worst part here is even if you take off the things Grimjack added, or whoever did the effect on this, you take out the cigar, you take off the little scar, the eye patch, it still looks like someone who would accurately look like a smuggler. I actually see this. Hell, if he grows up to have a beard, it's basically going to be a stereotypical pirate. Oh no. No, it wouldn't be a stereotypical pirate. It would be Blackbeard from FGO. That uncomfortable moment when you realize his entire character is accurately represented by Blackbeard from FGO. If you know exactly what kind of degenerate I'm talking about, you understand why it is suddenly so shocking that that useless degenerate in FGO is exactly the same character. I do not know how to feel about this, and it actually freaks me out a bit.
cigar and go, yeah, I'm the smuggler. You can never catch me. Oh, wait, you did. The Beastie Boys render him immobile with their bad breath technique. Rudy is taken
Which
to
Final
the Beast
Fantasy was
People's
that?
village among the treetops,
I don't actually know.
where he is imprisoned and labeled as a deviant. This means the Beast People got it right, but for the wrong reasons.
Nothing to say, just realizing that, yeah, he's completely right about that. They did accurately represent him.
Sup, Mushoku TV? My name is Rudius Grey Rat, and this is my crib. What we
Oh,
got here
God
is a studio
damn. You're doing a freaking Cribs reference? Oh. Well, it's about as much TV as MTV has now, so.
Apartment in the heart of the Great Forest. And boy howdy, they call it the Great Forest for a reason. Look at those views. They don't have anything like this on the central continent. Over here's the bathroom, and over here is the breakfast nook, where I get 3 free square meals a day. Speaking of savings, there's no extra charge for my many insect pets. In fact, no charge for rent at all. This place is completely free. Because I'm in prison! Please send help! I'm going insane!
In before this actually becomes something MTV Cribs does for Tekashi 6ix9ine whenever he goes to jail.
After a few days of sitting around naked and waiting to be rescued, he meets a new prisoner named Geese. They get to know each other a little, providing
such a stupid
massages and
name.
whatnot, until nightfall when brigands invade, setting the village alight and just generally being inconsiderate guests. So rude. Rudy and Geese elect to aid their captors, assisting the beasts and setting forth to free the captive children.
And somehow Geese is useful and not a scumbag, which admittedly was weird and I wasn't expecting it the entire time. That might just be me, but I was looking at this going, okay, he's going to be some kind of scumbag and he'll probably die. It'll be stupid. But then no, he's just kind of chill the entire time. Yeah, just wasn't expecting that. Usually when you get minor characters thrown in like that who aren't massively plot important, but are just kind of there, it's to serve a point later. His is just to be kind of generally cool and just neat and there. And it's like, oh, this is different than most how other shows would ever treat this kind of character type. Neat.
Who were already captured before and have been captured again. Great job, Beast People. You're really sending good advice.
Yeah.
Not advice, what the fuck? Amongst the scoundrels is our old good pal Gallus, who tries to convince Rudius to switch sides and join their cause. Cause
here's the thing. I completely forgot about this guy. By the time he came back, I didn't even realize it was the same person they met. He did not make an impression on me.
stealing children and doing all that is a cause worth joining. No, that is a lie. Don't listen to me. When Rudius says no thank you, being a creep and a pervert is plenty bad enough as it is, Gallus goes berserker mode, felling several beast folks with his North God-style swordplay.
Join me, Rudy, and together we can sell the basement as Guy and Kid.
Oh my god, they're literally going a British Darth Vader reference. I don't know why. Just the fact that they're making that reference with that accent actually makes it funny to me.
I don't see a way I can beat him as things stand. I'll have to use my secret technique.
You're gonna be a perv? What?
Let me keep going.
What did he say?
I'll have to use my secret technique.
Fast forward no jutsu!
Wait, let me keep going.
Fast forward no jutsu. Dead.
So what does our hero do? He nopes out, like hardcore. Saving kids is great and all, but he would much rather live to worship panties for another day. It's prime material for the top 10 anime bitch-ass moments. Until giant fluffy puppy hits the scene. Suddenly Rudy has the courage to step up to the plate, aided by his adorable new pal and Geese, unleashing the old Dale Gribble special, Pocket Sand. Through their combined efforts, they're able to best the dastardly foe, causing Rudy to pass out from exhaustion. When he awakens, he is surrounded by a group of thankful and suggestively supine beast people, along with Airier and Roger, who have cleared up the whole misunderstanding. Now the villagers are in their debt, and everyone's got...
Oh yeah, they're showing the stomachs. I forgot they actually did that. It doesn't really have the same effect, but his stomach looks like it could take a tank shot.
a big smile on their faces. Except for me. Where's my smile? It's a super nice moment. Oh, and meanwhile, Airier' grandfather is executed due to political shenanigans. Wait, he's what? No!
Yeah, that just randomly happened in the middle of the season. Well, second half of the season, so it's like the later half of it, but whatever. And yeah, they did show it rolling all the way to the other side. Admittedly, when you think about it, he was a monster, but that's not why they were executing him. He just happened to be a slave-owning rapist who abused his staff by literally screwing them over. You know, those things. So it's like, yeah, not why you should have been killed, but also they got to the right answer eventually.
No, but liked him. Oh. No.
Yeah, he was personable. Oh, I never even realized Selfie was there. Sylphie. Huh. I have no idea if that's actually her name now I think about it. Have I been calling her the wrong name for literally this entire time? Huh. I didn't recognize her because I didn't know who that was prior to seeing the stuff for season 2 when she had the big reveal. Oh, that's her. It probably wasn't a big reveal to anyone else, but for me, I didn't realize. Huh.
It's less of a nice moment, especially because they don't bother lay down a tarp on the nice tiled floor. What are you guys, barbarians?
Soros Boreas Greyrat, Overlord of Fatoa, you stand accused of not responding appropriately to the mana disaster. How do you plead?
I mean, it's a crazy atom thing that shuffles people's locations like a deck of cards. What am I gonna do, have it arrested?
Fair point, I hadn't considered that. Case dismissed.
That went better than expected. I can't wait to tell my granddaughter the good news.
On to the more serious charges. You stand accused of 2,134 counts of being a furry. How do you plead?
Oh, well, he's dead. And they censored it with the butterfly,
Back
just
at the
noticed,
Doldia
yeah.
Village, we learned that Ghislaine was once a resident herself until she disgraced her people by abandoning her position to protect the sacred beast, aka Giant Fluffy Puppy. Mr. Bad Breath is in fact her older brother, Gaius, and he gets his whiskers all in a knot just at the very mention of her name. His daughter Tona, on the other hand, thinks that this mildly interesting revelation is great news, and she wants Eris to train her in the Ghislaine art of ass-kickery. So she does exactly that for 3 whole months. Honestly, these people do not appear to be in a hurry to...
Wait, that was actually 3 months? It's not even that they're not in a hurry. I'm just sitting here going like, wow. They're literally just taking their sweet time. It didn't occur to me just how long this entire time span was because the show felt a lot faster. I'm kind of glad Grimjack is pointing out just how much time they're spending on this because it actually does really change how I'm thinking about it overall.
Complete their mission to return home. I mean, you know, a little rain's gonna stop me. Oh God!
Damn, tomorrow I haven't thought of
we're
that
staying
in a
here
while.
3 months. But once the rainy season has passed, they're able to move on. Thank goodness there's nothing pressing or time-sensitive out there, like the safety of Rudy's mom, or either of Rudy's sisters, or his maid/aunt/stepmom. Yeah, I left Paul out for a reason. I'm sure he's fine.
Honestly, no, yeah.
Fine. Probably boning someone. Crying.
Accurate. And not probably. There were the other women there, and it's Paul. Do we even need to say anything? Also, I am terrified right now because I just hear the cats doing things, and they are not usually loud at this time of day. So I'm assuming something is going to be broken. Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Crying. Or both. At long last, our party departs the village, leaving the furry convention behind them. Geese hitches a ride too, because shit, I had forgotten about him, and it's a convenient way to bring him back into the narrative.
Admittedly, that's probably more than he deserved because he was just a silly side character. But on the other hand, he's just kind of there and he just does his thing. It's just, you know, he's there. He's fun, kind of reliable. Just like, oh, just wasn't expecting it. Or him to show up still.
The episode ends with a discussion about the 7 great powers of legend, and a scene that is such heavy foreshadowing, it crosses the threshold of becoming downright 5-shadowing.
I thought it was just flat out exposition of, hey, here's the levels you're going to go to next. It's like going to a Zelda game and hearing, oh, and there's all these random temples in the world. You know what's going to happen. Am I the only one who thought about it like that? It seemed pretty obvious, but maybe that's just me. Unless the show doesn't go that way. I haven't read the manga or the light novel series. I don't know if it actually does or not. I'm assuming it does because it was really explicit to the point where I even remember this now. It'd be really awkward if it doesn't now.
Oh, hey, what's that rock over there?
Oh, that? It's a monument to the 7 great powers. You know, standard isekai stuff.
Isekai? How did you know this was an isekai?
You got your battle god, your demon god, the death sword and north gods, you got your technique god, and of course there's the
Dragon God Orsted.
Wow, hey, Spuddy, how'd you get your voice to change like that on the one god?
Voice change?
Just say it.
For which one? Battle god? North god? Or was it
Dragon God Orsted?
Oh, they are having so much fun with this one. It's not even just the voice. They're just getting all the excuses to do dumb dragon edits. Oh my god.
I feel endangered.
Technically, yes,
When
you
they
are.
arrive at human
It'll be worse.
civilization, Geese takes his leave, while the rest of the party proceeds onward to Milishone, a place.
Okay, I know this is not exactly about the review, but as far as just fantasy settings
Takes
go,
his leave, while the rest of the party.
let's see, go back a minute.
When they arrive at human civilization,
The show is really cool about making fantasy settings look like fantasy settings. Normally, every single fantasy has circular town, which this has, with a river, which this has, but unlike all of them, it's actually cool looking. It's like a lake with a band of island with another lake, and then an island in the middle with a giant castle, and this looks so freaking cool. Everyone else is circular town, river through it, slightly curved. Every single isekai has some variation of that, sometimes to the wall. This one I don't actually think has it. And it's just so cool to see something that actually looks like it's out of a fantasy setting when you see the overview of it. I know this is just me, but I'm actually hoping at some point anyone from Shock Squad makes a point to point out this actually looks like fantasy shit, where most fantasy shit looks really toned down and let's go realistic, as opposed to, no, let's make it look insane. This looks insane, and I love it for that.
Geese takes his leave, while the rest of the party proceeds onward to Milishone, a place
And
of
nothing
many
was here that they need to get to.
phallic monuments.
Yep.
Oh boy. Within just one day,
And of course,
Rudy gets
that's where his
himself
dad
in
was.
over his head, attempting to thwart a kidnapping in one of the most awkward ways possible. He proclaims himself to be Rougerd, which is like not cool, and he sets him up to dispose.
I forgot that's the name he used, and I'm really hoping actual Rougerd is now on a quest to find the person who decided to disgrace him by wearing panties on his face and claim it was him. I have no idea if that's actually going to happen, but I really hope it does.
His enemies with a pair of panties on his face, which, like, Rudy, that's really not cool.
But
I get
per
that
for
you
his
wanna
character,
clean up the
or
superb
par for
reputation,
it.
but I don't think Rougerd is quite as big of a fan of hentai common as you. As it turns out,
Hentai-common?
the leader of these rogues is none other than Rudy's very own father, Paul, who was much more on the side of crying than boning, and looks like he's drunk himself into the bottom of a whiskey barrel.
I actually am going to disagree with them on this one. Yeah.
None other than Rudy's very own father, Paul, who
He did drink himself, but
was much more on the side of crying than boning, and looks like he's drunk.
have you seen the company he keeps? I'm just pointing it out. It's Paul. We know what's going on. It's not just drinking.
Himself into the bottom of a whiskey barrel.
Oh man, sorry to.
You actually put in the tiny violin from the jokes about just, here, I'll play a tiny violin to see how sad I am. You actually brought in that tiny little sound for this. Oh.
See, you fell on hard times, Dad. Me, on the other hand, I've been doing great. I got a 3-month vacation in the Beast Territory. I got a tour of the Demon Continent, and my eye pegged by the strange little demon thing. Now I got this magical future-seeing eye.
Well, then you'll see this coming.
See what now?
Admittedly, I was still on Paul's side for this one, and that's a weird thing to say. Yeah, you did deserve this one.
The family reunion turns out sour when Paul accuses Rudy of being selfish, pointing out that he's never sought out others who have been affected by the disaster, or attempt to make contact with his loved ones. When you get a lesson on morality from old loose pants Paulie himself, you know you've done fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what made the scene so fascinating. Paul, who was flanderized and was flanderizing the entire show prior to this, making a good point and then backing it up with, oh, I'm going to punch you in the face with reality, and actually punching him in the face. It did have an impact, and it makes you stop and think, which is also what happened to the character. And I'm surprised they did that because so many shows would just gloss over it. And this didn't. It's kind of awesome for it.
They hash out their differences in a healthy way, only coming to a stop when Rudy's little sister Norn arrives. That's when Paul drops the bombshell, informing Rudy that the entire village was caught in the teleportation debacle.
Oh, I actually forgot that Rudy wasn't aware of that. He thought it probably was just them. Yeah.
His mother...
On the other hand, he also wasn't making any real fast progress to get anyone else back. The people he was aware that were missing because they were with him. And yeah, it's still him taking his time.
His half-sister, his backup girlfriend, Sylphie included.
Oh, I actually had the name
and
right.
Kid Paul's gang was snatching before, a brainwashed victim who they were trying to fix. For almost 2 years now, Paul and Noor have been scouring the plains in a desperate bid to rescue their loved ones. In comparison, Rudy's process of winging it, oogling at some women, and wearing panties on his face does sound a little bit frivolous.
I mean, I know the joke here is that, yeah, it's exactly frivolous, but also it's par for course here. As much as Paul was definitely being Paul, there's no doubt of that. It's Rudy's vice, and he definitely sticks to it.
But then, you gotta think about it like this. Rudy might be a 40-something-year-old man trapped in a child's body, but he wasn't very developmentally before he got isekai'd. He mostly spent his whole life playing video games and avoiding the world, which leaves his level of maturity and social/emotional intelligence at basically the same level his physical body is in. This is basically what Geese says to Paul in a little pep talk, minus the part about his son being older than him.
Yeah.
And Paul decides to go talk things out with Rudy. It leads to a genuine touching moment or two where Paul gets to feel like a dad and form bonds with his only son. Still, it must be a really comfortable day at work for the guy.
Oh, God, the bartender was there the entire time. I actually forgot that. Grimjack, thank you, and goddamn you for pointing that out, because it just makes the entire scene really uncomfortable then, in hindsight. Unless this guy knows Paul well enough to realize this is weird and is just ignoring it in general.
Guy behind the bar. Like, they're not ordering anything, and he can hear everything. Eventually, he gets so fed up with this, he just starts dishing out free booze out of sheer despair. Then they start hugging and crying, and they're still not buying anything. Like, this is the worst day ever for this barkeeper. He's gonna
People
go
come
out of
in,
business.
they see what's going on, they leave.
I'm sorry I got mad and I punched you. It's just been really hard with all of our family missing. I feel like a failure of a father.
I mean, if it helps, he was a failure of a father beforehand, so he's kind of fixing it finally. It's a silly moment, but...
Failures of father. I'm sorry to brag so much when I saw you. I should have done more to look for our missing family.
I'm going to turn subtitles on. I have no idea what they just said through the crying. You're not a failure as a father. Well, that's a blatant lie.
I brag so much when I saw you. I should have done more to look for our missing family.
Admittedly, yes, but you also didn't know about it because you also weren't looking to get back very hard.
You know, when I named this bar Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't expect everyone to come in here and cry all the time.
Damn it. You know what you did, and anyone who doesn't get that reference, shame on you. Where's a link when you need one?
I thought it'd be easy to sell alcohol to crying people, but all they ever buy is opaque water, and you know, opaque water doesn't pay the bills around here.
I mean, if you'd charge more for it, it probably could.
My mother was right. I'm a failure as a bartender. Okay, I'm starting to cry now. It's time to fill up another opaque water.
Meanwhile, Roxy has taken the opportunity to visit her hometown, which we learned that she is somewhat of an outcast amongst the demon community. Apparently, she lacks the tribe's inherent gift of telepathy, so whenever her people try to communicate with her, all she hears is the sounds of small rocks being dropped onto a Denny's parking lot. It's a little bit like when...
That is an oddly specific reference, and now I'm hungry because I haven't had breakfast. It's noon, I haven't had breakfast. Oh, yeah, why is that the case? Just judging myself right now for getting hungry at the mention of Denny's. Anyone with self-respect should know by now, just don't. Friends don't let friends Denny's. Unless they don't want to be friends anymore and they're secretly getting a life insurance policy in your name, and then they know it is the perfect crime. Life insurance policy? Denny's? Quick payout. Not as bad as taking them to Apple. Well, I was going to say Applebee's, but that'd be calling it food. No, don't.
When someone speaks to you in a language you don't understand, or when someone drops your rock collection onto a Denny's parking lot. which I'm still mad about, Liam. Which ones are my rocks? And
I hope he
which
actually
ones are
did it just to
shards
make it
of broken
funnier.
glass from the cars no one picks up. It's a specific rock collection. Stop judging me. She talks to her parents, reflecting on how hard it was due to being less telepathic, more telepathetic. While Roxy is no Professor Rock Xavier, she still realizes how much her parents loved her despite all this.
I mean, they talked to her out loud and made the point to still embrace their daughter. They're frankly parent of the year material, especially considering all the other parents in this show are, admittedly, they're actually not that bad compared to some shows. But they still have a lot of work in there. When Paul is one of the better ones, that should tell you everything you need to know.
I have been waiting decades to say this, but welcome home, dear. Oh, dear. I promised myself and your dolls that I talked to I wouldn't cry, but oh boy, just talking about it is making me cry more.
Yeah.
Water in my eyes, but I haven't cast a water spell. Have I finally mastered incantationless casting? Mama,
Hasn't she actually done that by this point?
I'm just a really talented maid.
Oh, sweetie, I always knew you'd be successful.
I just want to give props to the actresses right now, especially for Roxy. Just that moment of the voice changing from initial... Actually, I'll just pull it up right now.
Finally mastered incantation.
Even just that tiny bit right there, you can see the voice actually becomes incredibly sad as it goes, but it starts almost at her regular level, just slightly sad, and then it goes on to the full-all ball. But the transition between those two tones is actually really well done, and I have no idea how many takes they had to do to get that exact transition from I'm a little sad, I'm covering up to I'm very sad. I am not a voice actor. I have no subtlety and no chill, so I can't do that shit. But hearing it done well, it's actually really cool to see that because it's a really quick change of emotion on a subtle basis, but it's very distinctive, and I really like hearing it. Considering we're talking about a crying scene, that actually makes that sound kind of fucked up. But you know what I mean.
Casting? Mama, I'm not crying.
Yep, see, they've gone from just talking cry to just flat out crying with words.
Oh, sweetie, I always knew you'd be successful. Your dolls that I talked to told me so while you were gone.
Oh yeah, this mom's insane.
Mom, there's so much we have to talk about. But especially we have to talk about you and my dolls, because that's
creepy.
Weird.
Well, Dip, now I feel left out. Better get a cry worked up. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's all coming out. You unzipped me.
And he's the exact opposite for the humor. While Roxy is doing full-on subtle crying, it sounds incredibly realistic and well done. He is going full-on balls to the wall. We're overdoing it, guys. We're doing it. And frankly, I appreciate it just because it gives that juxtaposition with really silly on his end versus the really serious on hers. And then even bringing in the jokes about the dolls through it. This is something I actually really enjoy in scenes like this. When you have a juxtaposition between a straight, very serious moment and the really silly moment to give an emotional complexity to it, because it shows you the depth between one emotion to the other, giving more, well, extremes. So it's easier to feel one versus the other. And it gives you almost an emotional whiplash, but it just makes it more distinct. It might just be my take, but I do very much appreciate that. It's like the difference between something really sweet and really salty, but they're really good together because it gives more of a palate cleanse that also lets you embrace more of the flavor. This works the same way with emotions, and I do just enjoy having one to the other because it makes it more distinct.
After their touching reunion, Roxy ends up crashing at her parents' place like your average teenager, doing all the things
Isn't
she
she in her
wanted to do
50s?
as a child, and finally learning that Rudius is doing okay, other than that he's traveling with Satan himself.
Yeah.
Roger. She decides, hey, screw the kid that wants to screw me, and the other kid that wants to screw me, and my general responsibilities. I'm gonna focus on some of the other missing family members instead. You go, girl. Rudy and his party continue on their way, catching another ship towards the central continent. This time, they can even bring their Rougier-shaped luggage on board with them. Upon arrival, Rudius is brought back in the company of Man-God, who has been ghosting him for a whole year. By the way, I'm getting real sick and tired of having to say that stupid name. So from here on, we'll be calling this
Dave?
mysterious deity,
George?
Mod. In order to track down
Mod? Man, God, Mod. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Because he's the mod of the world, of course he is.
his lost
Moderator.
half-sister Aisha, Rudy will have to give out a false alias rather than revealing that they're related. If he follows these instructions, he'll apparently be able to
Phase 1, use fake name. Phase 2, Phase 3, sister. All plans work like this.
save not only Aisha from the Palace of Shirone, but her mother/Rudy maid, Lilia, as well. We call that a twofer. In Canada, it's known as a double fisting, but we're not going to get into that. He's also
There are only two ways you use that phrase, double fisting, and considering Rudy's general disposition, I am not going to go any further because that is definitely not YouTube appropriate. The other one is my Irish disposition, and I honestly much more prefer that one.
supposed to send a letter to an acquaintance based out of Shirone. So, of course, he
cursive.
chooses Roxy. I shudder to think of what content that letter consisted of. He goes for the little stroll, and lo behold, there's Aisha before his very eyes, being apprehended by palace soldiers. He saves her with his vaunted mud ability, and they evade their pursuers. As per Mod's instructions, Rudy gives a nom de plume, and in this case, he chooses the cringiest option possible.
Thank you for saving me, stranger. What incredible name does my amazing savior call himself?
Okay, Rudy, that strange nudist man god thing told you to call yourself something different than your real name.
Okay, full props to the voice actors here. The little kid who's super enthusiastic, they did that voice well, which is going to make this so much worse because they're definitely going to use a joke to make the name even dumber than normal, because the normal one was actually very dumb. But it's just going to be so much worse, and I hope they default to her just being nonplussed. Unless they edit that in. I don't think they will, though.
Now's a great chance to use your otherworldly knowledge to call yourself something cool, something incredible.
Vader.
Something like...
My name is Shadow Moon Knight! Yes! Nailed it!
Shadow Moon Knight. Oh, God, that is so cheesy.
My name is Shadow...
Yeah, that's what they changed it to. It's the back to the I Am 7 style name. Yeah.
Moon Knight! Yes! Nailed it!
After sorting things out with Disney's lawyers off screen, Rudy is summoned to the palace, apparently by Roxy herself. When he arrives, however, he discovers it's a trap set by Prince Pax,
Who somehow, and I'm just going to throw it out here, spoilers, he doesn't die. I am still disappointed about that. Maybe in the second season things change, but in the first one, he makes a worse first impression than... You know what? I don't think anyone else really comes close to making as bad of a first impression, including Eris. Hers was still much more interesting. This guy just came off as, every time he's on screen, it's because I forgot he was actually in previous scenes, and I regretted remembering it.
intercepts his letter and apprehends him with a pitfall like he's the bastard son of James from Team Rocket. He's always been a creepy little dweeb, but now we learn of the full extent of his perversion, as he intends to use Rudy as bait to force Roxy into a life of servitude. Congratulations, Rudy! You finally found the one person in the world more depraved than yourself. If only you could have had some kind of demon eye that could have predicted when dangerous situations like this are about to happen, right?
I'd say it's a plot hole, but Rudy just not thinking about things is kind of part of character.
Oh wait, you do. Rudy's only hope now is Zanoba, Pax's older brother. But the odds of Zanoba being willing to help Rudius has gotta be low, right?
Please let me be your disciple, master! Teach me the ways of the so-called incel weeb! I crave these overpriced figures and these things you call gotcha games! I must devote my life savings to these things at once!
But
Everything about this joke causes me physical pain. And everything I'm hearing in the other room from the kittens is actually going to cause me physical pain if I don't fix that. So, oh shit. You know what? I'm just going to focus on this video and deny reality for a little longer because I think at this point, that's a coping mechanism I need to embrace.
sure. All you need to do is get your prince brother to get me out of here and you've got yourself a deal.
Done.
Hey, what the heck? It's 1 a.m. and I'm
Yeah.
naked.
What just happened?
I was born a super strong boy. Now teach me how to find a 2D waifu. And is it possible to get her likeness on a pillow?
This is kind of making me cringe, dude.
I mean, yes, this guy's cringy, but he was at least interesting cringy, as opposed to his little brother who was just flat out just annoying, and I kind of wish he had died, but he hadn't, and we'd have to deal with that.
Just good, right? Look at me, Rudy-senpai. I am cringe.
The party continues on
Accurate.
through a frozen landscape coated under a bitter layer of snow. And this is just an aside, but does Rougier honestly not need a coat here? Or a
I'm assuming he just scares it away with being a superb. And with how things work in this world, there's actually a good chance that's not a joke.
scarf or just even a t-shirt that says shirt on it?
Nope.
I mean, come to think of it, for a guy whose whole purpose on this team is to be the heavy, Roy Jarrett has a lot of exposed and vulnerable flesh. I can only assume his abs are hard enough to repel the blades of his enemies. On this lovely hike.
I mean, I'm assuming that's unironically probably a thing. On the other hand, he's a superb. He probably doesn't need to worry about that because most people will run away screaming as a self-defense mechanism, even if they can get over the actual curse.
They run afoul of the Dragon God Orsted. Eris and Roger seem to know this guy is bad news, and even their packed mule says nope and yeets itself off a cliff. But old Rudius decides, hey, I'm going to ignore these obvious cues and start up a lovely bit of small talk with this scary, scary man.
Excuse me, Mr. Dragon God Orsted, sir?
Rudy, what are you doing?
I know.
It's a very fascinating way to get the attention of someone you probably don't want the attention from. I know enough that it has to do with curses, why everyone's like that, and him reacting as what comes next is because there's very few people who could do that, and he doesn't like the one that does. Beyond that, it's stuff I haven't got to yet. It's kind of cool that there is reasoning for it. I just don't know what that reasoning is yet, and I'm kind of curious to find out.
Oh, you guys said not to talk to him, but he looks harmless. Right, Rudy?
No!
The best part is they've actually, both in the show and with Grimjack's retelling, shown that Rudius is really good at ignoring the obvious. So it makes perfect sense he'd say that, actually, even as a joke.
You said it wrong! It's not Dragon God Orsted, it's Dragon God Orsted!
Okay, that. Why does everyone use that voice when saying your name?
I mean, admittedly, for Rougier, that's just his voice in general.
It's a funny story. I was cursed by the man god. Well, it wasn't that funny, I guess. It is nice to talk to someone for a change, though. Usually, people just... Dragon God Orsted! Do that. Why aren't you affected by this, small child?
Yep.
Are you working with the man god?
Yes!
Somehow, Orsted knows about Rudy's disconnection with Maud, and he goes on the offensive, giving Roger the business and rendering poor Eris into a Krillin-level punching bag. To really prove his point, he gives Rudy a brand new speed hole, right through the gut.
Yep.
Huh? Oh, what happened this time? Please tell me I was crushed by Elaine and this is Valhalla.
No such luck, Rudy Poo.
No, he had to go to Bleach because you are a hollow. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist the joke considering there's a hole right through him. It's a stupid one, but I couldn't resist. I've been waiting this entire time, and I'm glad they brought up the scene so I could say it. It's not the smartest thing to wait for, and it's probably not the best joke I should have been waiting for, but it's the one I thought of immediately, and I wanted it. I don't know why. Starting to watch the new stuff. Don't have any idea if it's good or yet. But I wanted it, and I did it, and I don't regret it.
He ran afoul of the Dragon God Orsted and met an untimely demise.
Yeah.
So what? Now I just sit here in this void with you and wear this weird nudist Grimjow cosplay for eternity?
Called it!
Not quite.
Wow, can you imagine anyone from the Schmuck Squad making a joke about Bleach? I mean, that's crazy.
Yes, experience all the lore of the Superb in a fraction of a second before you return to life. Okay, nice seeing you again. Bye, Rudy.
Wait,
Brain
do
blast.
what now?
Okay, well done on that.
Things are looking pretty dicey until Orsted's traveling partner, Nanahoshi, convinces him to spare the little brat for some reason. Roger doesn't have actual armor, but apparently Rudy has plot armor. All things balance out, I guess. That night, Rudy lets Roger in on all the secrets he's learned from Maud, including the fact that the Superb are hated because of a curse. His powers have been fading since Roger started shaving his head, proving once again that bald is beautiful. How does our beloved demon stalwart reward Rudy for this insight? By piecing out on the earliest opportunity. Damn, that's ice cold, Roger. Spurs ain't loyal. Rudy and Airier press on towards a camp.
I'll be honest, though, it didn't feel like that in the show. Yeah, he's piecing out immediately, but I thought it was a mix of he just got his ass handed to him so thoroughly that his role of unbeatable big guy is very much shattered. And also because he didn't feel like he needed to protect them anymore. Because they were about as useful as he was in that situation. Which admittedly was not. So, yeah. Either way, it didn't feel like an abandonment. As opposed to what we're about to get to.
Camp that was set up to provide refuge for those who have been impacted by the mana disaster.
Yep.
Almost immediately, they bump into Ghislaine and the butler guy whose name escapes me.
Still can't remember it either.
We'll go with Dr. Butt until I come up with something better, which I doubt I will. Dr. Butt delivers the bad news.
I would have gone with Oreo because, well, creamy white layer between black and black. You know, when I put it that way, that sounds admittedly so much worse. Just gotta shove that one in there, but it just sticks out.
Eris's parents and grandfather are all dead.
Oh, the parents
and
too, I
that
forgot
Lord
about that.
Philemon Noto's gray rat tends to take her as a concubine. Disgusting. That's like her uncle. Ghislaine supports her former student.
I mean, Rudius is also her cousin, so yeah. It's not better.
Saying that the future of the kingdom isn't worth sacrificing Eris for. She also ruined my fun by immediately referring to this butler guy as Alphonse, confirming
Really?
that
That's
his
his name?
name is not, in fact, Dr. Butts.
They made the butler Alphonse. It's so close to Alfred, they had to know what they were doing. There's no way they weren't aware of that. I also forgot his name again. I have no idea what it is.
Elaine! Thank goodness you're safe! What about the rest of my family that I love and cherish so very dearly?
Oh boy, I'm gonna need the world's most dour butler to break this news.
They did.
My mom?
Did.
My dad?
Did.
My grandfather?
Did.
My pet dog, Studebaker?
Did. Oh, you almost had me on that one. You never had a pet dog. But if you did, you would be dead.
Tower butler,
The
all
orphan
right.
child takes the news pretty courageously. And that night, she suggests that her and Rudy should sleep together. Yeah, it's cute. A little sleepover. Oh, wait, no, I misunderstood. I don't want to be here right now. No, get me out. No, get me out. Abort. Because this scene is so strange, we forced our writer to watch it in 6 different languages. And in every language except German, Eris tries to seduce Rudy by meowing like a cat girl. And she claims she's learned that technique from her mom.
Yeah, because their entire family has a thing with beast people. What was the difference in German? No, I'm not even joking right now. If all of them but German did that, what did the Germans do differently? You know, that is a sentence that I'm sure it cannot be taken out of context ever. Oh, wow. I probably just stepped in something with that, and I hope no one actually hears that. I should probably cut that out for my own safety. There's no way that won't be misused.
I don't know what's more interesting. That Eris was quite possibly conceived while her mom was meowing, or that the German translators were just like, this scene is already weird enough. Let's say 9 to the kitty stuff, yeah? I'm just glad that Roger
They just cut it out
still in the
completely?
picture.
Okay.
Can you imagine him just like napping in the corner right now? It's not a good vibe.
Oh, yeah, you can probably hear that.
I have no idea why, but I'm really glad I left the group for some reason.
The next morning,
Yeah.
Rudy is on cloud 9. But his joy is short-lived as he finds a note from Eris stating that they're not well matched. And she's going away. Alphonse informs him that she's off on a journey with Ghislaine, and he was instructed not to tell Rudy where they went. Dick move, Alphonse. I'm busting your back down to Dr. Butts. It's almost enough to make you feel bad for the little jerk. In just one episode, he lost his sexy, seductive sidekick, and Eris is gone too. But you'll have to watch.
Yeah, no, yeah. I will admit, though, even if they don't cover it here, the outcome, and I'm pretty sure he's not covering it because it's a massive spoiler, even though he's literally reviewed the entire show at this point for the first season, the way they handled this was actually one of the most impactful season endings I've ever seen. If the show had ended here because I never got a second season, it would have at least felt like a conclusion, because they showed a way for personal growth to happen that was not physical, not just the isekai trope of, and I got stronger and it was all because of magic I got for being reborn. Ha 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 ha. Which admittedly, I'm a big fan of that kind of trash show, so I'm not the person to talk about. But I liked how this actually had a good message of moving forward. And hopefully that's a generic enough statement not to count as a spoiler and ruin the fact that they tried not to spoil it.
Watch the next season to find out on what becomes of our magical miscreant.
Still need to
Will
watch
he
the second
reunite
one.
with Sylphie? Or can he and Roxy finally cross paths? The only thing I know for sure is that he'll find a way to make it super depraved and uncomfortable.
It's still better than the beginning, though. Give it credit for that. It's uncomfortable now because he's a young preteen who's this. They are making loud snapping noises in the other room. What the hell are they getting into that can even do that? I have no idea what the cats are doing, and I'm actually terrified right now. I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to patch a wall, aren't I? Oh, God.
Looking forward to it. See you guys next time. Grimjack teleporting out. Oh, wait, do I even know where I'm teleporting? God!
Okay, I need to make this really short because there's a lot of sound that does not sound affordable that I probably need to go stop, and I don't know what they got into. Oh, dear God, there was snapping and crackles and pops at this point. We're getting all kinds of cereal all over the place, man. Considering they're not actually allowed to eat cereal, I really hope that's only a joke on my end, because if it's not, oh dear God, I can't afford the vet either. This is going to be fun. Otherwise, if you guys haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. I'm going to go run and try and wrangle some kittens who are apparently trying to destroy the house. And maybe in hindsight, it was a bad idea not to pause and go do that rather than watching the video. But you know what? I had priorities. They're apparently wrong. But it was a really fun video, and I actually enjoyed it. I like seeing the entire review they're doing, and I hope they do a second season after I watch it, which I still need to do, and I need to get around to. And I really want to even more now, because just this reminded me how much I love that show, especially when they moved on from the early pervy child aspect, which was really disturbing. It got less disturbing, but it really was in the beginning. Really hard to watch. Yeah. Otherwise, again, link, hit it up. Schmuck Squad, Grimjack, they did a great job. Do that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.